You know the moment when you walk away from something and you don't realize until way later that your silence actually did more damage than any words ever could. That's what I want to talk about right now, because there is something happening in someone's head who blamed you, something they can't escape, something that's literally eating them alive from the inside out. Let me be really specific about what I'm seeing. You were in a situation, doesn't matter if it was work or family or a friendship circle, but there was a problem, a real problem. And that problem, you didn't create it. You had nothing to do with it. But what ended up happening was multiple people started saying you did. You did. Not one person, multiple people. And the reason more than one person was saying it is because when people hear the same accusation from different mouths, it feels true. It feels credible. It feels like, well, if someone's saying it, it must be real, right? So they blamed you. They all blamed you together. And here's what's actually killing them right now. It's not that you were innocent. It's the way you handled it when they confronted you. Because when they came at you with those accusations, you could have fought back. You could have defended yourself point by point. You could have snapped. You could have proven them wrong in the moment. That's what they wanted, by the way. They were literally counting on it. They wanted you to get emotional. They wanted you to break. They wanted you to give them exactly what they expected. Drama, anger, prove that you were the villain they'd already decided you were. They wanted you to validate their story about who you are, but you didn't do that. You didn't do that. You held your peace. And I mean, you really held it. When they confronted you, when they told you that you had to go or that you were being let go and that they were done with you, you basically said, it's okay, that's fine. And then you walked away. You didn't defend yourself. You didn't try to prove your innocence. You didn't beg them to believe you. You didn't cry or scream or lose it. You just accepted it and you left. And you left with your dignity completely intact. One person in the comment said, I walked away silently and gracefully. Another one said, I just turned like a soldier and left. You know what that means? It means you didn't give them the reaction they were banking on. You didn't give them fuel for their narrative. You didn't give them a reason to justify what they did to you. And you just walked. And that grace, that composure, that's what's haunting them. Here's what happened after you left. Life moved on. You moved forward. You probably felt a weight being lifted off you instantly. Some of you literally felt that weight lift the moment you decided you were not going to fight anymore. You let go. You stopped trying to convince people. You stopped trying to prove your innocence. And you know what? You probably felt freer than you'd felt in months. But they didn't. They couldn't. Because eventually, and I don't know exactly how long this took, but it happened. The truth came out. The real culprit was found. The actual problem revealed itself. And suddenly everyone who blamed you knows for a fact that you were innocent all along. You didn't do it. You were set up. You were the scapegoat for something you had absolutely nothing to do with. And now imagine what that's like for them. Imagine finding out you were wrong about someone. Imagine finding out you accused an innocent person. Imagine knowing that you participated in something you can never take back. One comment said, "They set me up." Another said, "It was a smear campaign and they all ganged up on me to lie." You know what that does to a person's conscience when the truth comes out? It destroys them. It absolutely destroys them. But here's the thing that's making it worse for them. And I need you to understand this because it's the key to everything. It's not just that you were right and they were wrong. It's that moment replaying in their head now with a completely different meaning. When you said, "It's okay, that's fine," the first time, when they didn't know the truth yet, they probably felt something. They maybe relief, maybe justified, maybe even a little victorious, like they'd gotten what they wanted. They'd gotten what they wanted. But now that they know you're innocent, that same moment is hitting them completely different. That exact same moment where you walked away gracefully, where you didn't defend yourself, where you didn't get angry or bitter or vindictive. Now it's replaying and it's breaking them because they realize what you could have done. You could have proven yourself innocent. You could have fought them. You could have made them regret every word. And you don't. You didn't. You were above it. You were bigger than it. Someone commented, "When my boss raised her voice at me, I remained calm." Another person said, "I got fired after many complaints and I said we all know it was not true. I said I forgive them and that's all I said." Do you understand what those people did? They didn't give in to the pressure. They didn't become the villain in the story. They stayed dignified. And that's what's destroying the people who blamed them. Imagine for a second being them. You accused someone of something they never did. You took action against them. Maybe you fired them, maybe you cut them off, maybe you spread rumors about them, maybe you orchestrated the whole thing, all because other people were saying the same thing, or because you were jealous, or because you wanted them gone. And then that person just accepted it gracefully without even trying to defend themselves, without trying to make you feel bad, without trying to expose you. They just walked away. They held their peace. They let God fight their battles. And you didn't do any of that. You did the opposite. You fought. You participated, you made it worse. That's what's driving them absolutely insane. Think about the psychology of that for a second. It's like the movie where the hero gets framed and they could fight back violently, but instead they just walk away, knowing the truth will come out. Always. It always does. By the end of the movie, the villain's guilt is eating them alive because the hero never even tried to destroy them. The hero didn't need to. The truth did all the work. And that's what's happening in real life right now. Except you are the hero. And the people who blamed you, they are living in that guilt scene on repeat. The weight that God lifted off of you when you let go, that's the weight now sitting on their shoulders. Because they can't unhear what they said. They can't undo what they did. They can't unsee the moment you walked away with your head up while they were desperately trying to convince everyone you were guilty. Someone said in a comment, I felt a weight being lifted off of me instantly. That weight didn't disappear, it transferred. It went to them. And now they are carrying it. One person shared, all it did was turn me into a millionaire. Praise God. You know, you want to know what that means. It means that getting blamed, getting fired, getting set up, it didn't break them. It launched them. It freed them from a situation that was never meant for them in the first place. And the people who blamed them, they are still there. They are still in the same situation. They are still stuck. But now they have the added torture of knowing that they hurt someone who's now thriving without them. And the worst part for them, your silence is louder now than your voice could ever have been. Because silence says you are not worried. Silence says you are not scared. Silence says you now know something they don't. And now they know what you knew, that the truth doesn't need you to fight for it. The truth fights for itself. You didn't have to prove anything because eventually everything proves itself. I held my peace and let God fight my battles for me. That's not just something people say in comments. That's the actual principle that's destroying them right now, because you did exactly that. You held your peace even though it hurt, even though you wanted to scream and defend yourself and make them understand. You held it anyway. It hurt so much, but you held your peace. And the refusal to engage with their narrative, the refusal to become the villain they expected, that's what makes it impossible for them to reconcile what they did. A graceful exit trumps a crash out any day. You could have burned bridges, you could have told anyone off, you could have made them pay socially and professionally. You could have exposed every lie, every manipulation, every selfish motive, but you didn't. You left clean, you walked away with class. And clean exits are the hardest thing to forget because they show character, they show strength, they show how that they show that you are not operating from the same place they are. You're not trying to win, you are trying to survive with your integrity intact. And that integrity, that's what haunts them. The people who jumped on the bandwagon without thinking, the ones who blamed you just because everyone else was, they are starting to realize their mistake. But the people who started the whole thing, the ones who created the lie or the accusation in the first place, they are living with something much heavier, because they look back at that moment when you walked away, and they see it clearly now. They see someone innocent accepting injustice with dignity, and there is no way to come back from being the person who did that to someone like that. Here is what's actually happening in their mind, and this is the part that's eating them alive. They are replaying that moment over and over, that exact moment when you said it's okay and walked away. And each time it replays, it hits different, it hits deeper, because now they know you were telling the truth without saying a word. You didn't need to say anything. Your peace said everything. Your acceptance said everything. Your refusal to fight back said everything. They set you up, but God knows, and that knowledge is enough for you. But it's not enough for them, because now they have to live knowing that they hurt an innocent person, that they have to live knowing that the person they wronged responded with more grace than they are capable of understanding. And they have to live with the fact that you are probably better off now, probably freer now, probably lighter now, while they are stuck, replaying that moment in their head where you walked away and left them with nothing but their guilt and the undeniable proof of your innocence. You're not suffering. You're not the one suffering anymore. They are. And the suffering isn't coming from anything you did to them. It's coming from the everything they have to face about themselves now that the truth is out. It's coming from the fact that your integrity was never in question. It was only their judgment that was. It's coming from the realization that they chose to believe a lie over believing in the person standing right in front of them. The lesson they are learning too late is that silence drives the people crazy, because silence doesn't give them anything to fight against. Silence doesn't give them ammunition. Silence doesn't give them justification for what they did. You learned that and you used it. You stopped jumping on people just because someone else was doing it. You stopped defending yourself the moment you realized defending yourself wouldn't change anything. And that decision, that quiet decision to let it go and let God handle it, is the thing that's haunting them. Someone commented, silence drives them crazy. Lesson learned, stop jumping on people just because someone else is doing it. That's the actual wisdom right there. Because you understand now what most people never figure out. You understand that your silence is more powerful than your argument. Your peace is more convincing than your proof. Your grace is more transformative than your anger could ever be. They can't escape what they did, not because you're making them face it, but because you're not. Your grace is relentless in a way that anger never could be. Your dignity is impossible to argue with. Your innocence, once proven, is impossible to justify against. And the way you handled it, the way you existed, is replaying in their head like a permanent reminder of the kind of person they are not. So while you are moving forward, lighter and freer, they are still there, still stuck in that moment, still seeing your face when you said it's okay, still hearing that acceptance in your voice even though you had every reason to be furious, still understanding finally what they did to someone who didn't deserve it. And they are trapped. They are trapped in a moment they can never escape because you made it impossible for them to be the villain in their own mind. Your exit is what haunts them, not your accusations, not your anger, not your attempts to prove yourself. Your peace, your acceptance, your refusal to be broken by what they did, your refusal to sink to their level, your refusal to become ugly in response to their ugliness. And they are going to remember that for a very long time. Every time they try to justify what happened, they are going to see you walking away with your integrity intact. Every time they try to convince themselves they were right, they are going to hear you saying it's okay. Every time they try to move on, that moment is going to pull them back. Every single time they are going to feel exactly how wrong they were. That's your vindication, not in being proven right, but in them knowing permanently that they were the bigger person, that you were the bigger person all along, that you were the one with character, that you were the one with faith, that you were the one who refused to be destroyed by their lies. And honestly, that's enough. That's more than enough. I think that's everything. That's everything.